What's up, everybody? Tonight we have another taste of manga, and we're going to be talking about The God's Lie, which is a one-shot by Kaori Ozaki, and it's a very, very quick read, just 5 chapters, a little over 200 pages here, so something you could definitely read in like one day, and I highly, highly recommend it. It's definitely worth checking out. Basically, your story here is about this guy named Natsuru, who's a sixth grader, and he's transferring to this new school. And he's your typical transfer kid. He finds it hard to like fit in. He's not really great at talking to new people. He's especially not good at talking to girls. He's very awkward and shy with that. And he's also kind of like a dunce at times because the very first day, another girl in his class goes to give him like chocolate, and she's like the pretty popular girl in the class, and she finds him kind of cute, and he like awkwardly like denies her. He messes up the situation, and she kind of takes that as that he's like a jerk, and so she kind of writes him off as being this jerk, and so did her friends. So great for Natsuru. Like the first week or the first day of school or whatever, and all the popular girls in his class don't like him. But the silver lining here, in terms of him trying to save face in terms of popularity, is that Natsuru is really good at soccer, and he's really passionate about soccer, and he's on the school team, and he's going to practices and stuff like that, and he's building relationships with some of the guys on his team. But then something happens with their coach. Now, at the beginning, they had this like older coach who was really, really nice, really passionate about getting to know his athletes, a relatable guy, but not really good at the sport and not very knowledgeable at the sport. He was just kind of like a beneficial hire for the school. They had him, and then he gets replaced one day with a younger coach who's more regimented and, in truth, a lot better at the sport, but not better at relating to the kids. They don't really like him. They think that the practices are much harder than they were. They wish that things could go back to the way they used to be. And rumors float around about the original coach, and it turns out that the original coach has been hospitalized and is going through cancer treatment. And that really resonates with Natsuru because it brings back his memories of being a child, and his father had actually passed away from a fatal illness as well. I don't remember if it was cancer exactly, but a lot of his memories from when he was a kid are unfortunately him going to visit his sick dad. And so, yeah, he really feels bad for his coach, and at this stage of his life, his household is just Natsuru himself and his mom. And his mom is like really, really down to earth. Like she's like, I think she writes like manga, or she draws manga or something like that, or she's like shorts, like light novels or something. And she gets like, she's kind of funny. She gets like writer's block a lot. And what I found interesting is he doesn't call her mom. He calls her Reitz. Her name's Ritsuko. And he calls her Reitz. And it is his mom. At first, like, I thought that it was like maybe a sister, and maybe both parents had passed away or something, but it is actually his mother, and they're just, I guess they have this really close sort of like weird relationship where, that sounds awkward, close weird relationship. They just have a relationship where he calls her Reitz and she doesn't feel bad about it. Maybe I guess it's like so she maybe feels younger or something, but I don't know. But she's a funny character. There is one knock about like the early relationship that they set out in this manga, but I'll get into that when I talk about the cons. So it's just him and his sister, and then he finds this cat, this like abandoned cat, and he's like most humans. They find this like abandoned animal and they want to take it in. It's this cute little cat, and however, his sister is allergic. And she starts sneezing all over the place and getting really pissed at him and tells him, he's got to find some other home for this cat. So he gets upset. Natsuru gets upset, takes the cat out of the house, and it is then when he bumps into this girl that's in his class, whose name is Rio. I had to look to remember that. Rio, and he sort of knows. He knows Rio's in his class, but he doesn't really know a lot about her. She's really, really quiet. And like I said, he's awkward at talking to girls, so they haven't really had much of a relationship before this. And she is really tall for her age, so she's kind of an outcast herself. Natsuru does notice that the other girls don't really talk to her that much. She's she's much taller than everybody else, and she's sort of quiet, and she's also like kind of unkempt. Like her hair isn't as like clean as the other girls, and her like the makeup that she might wear isn't as nice. Like her clothing isn't as nice. As she kind of has these like old raggedy kind of clothes, and she actually has this backpack that she's definitely had for some time, because as she's gotten taller, like the backpack looks like smaller and smaller, and you could tell it was something that she had like in like elementary school maybe. So it kind of looks silly. So the other girls in the class kind of bully Rio, and so she's sort of an outcast in the class as well. And she agrees that she's going to take care of this cat, and so it's her and her little brother, and Natsuru's like kind of bummed out that he's not going to be able to hang out with the cat and stuff like that. And basically they make this deal that they're going to take the cat. If he wants to see the cat, they can go hang out with them, and at their place. So he goes to hang out with Rio and her brother, and they have this like it's just them in the house, and very quickly you start to notice that this is not a normal family dynamic here. Like they claim that I believe their mother passed away some time ago, and then they say that their father is a crab fisherman, and he's on like a trip to Alaska, and he's going to be coming back. But Natsuru like at first like buys that from them, but he constantly like questions, because the house is kind of like messy, and they keep talking about how like dad's gonna come back soon or whatever, and it just seems like nobody's been there in a while, and it's just Rio and her little brother and the cat, and now Natsuru in this like weird kind of family with just like sort of like kids running the house. And Rio makes Natsuru promise that he's not gonna like tell anybody, because if they find out that it's just them at the house, then social services is gonna come, and like she's worried that they're gonna be family's gonna be like separated and stuff like that. And she's like, everything's all right, everything's okay. You can't tell anybody though. Like my dad's gonna be coming back from his trip. Please don't do it. And Natsuru, he's a nice guy. I really like him as a character. He's really human. I like how he's awkward at times, and he's passionate about stuff. And he's pretty much a good guy for a lot of this manga, and I really liked him as a main character. And so he agrees, and he's like, yeah, it's fine. I mean, and then because he sees it like he's actually gained friends now, and yeah, he can hang out with the cat, and he has this soccer camp coming up, and he is not into this new coach as much as he loves soccer. He is really not about this new guy, and there's a camp that he's gonna have to like stay at. And he's not about it, so he decides he's going to play hooky from this camp. He's not going to go, and he's going to crash at Rio's house. Rio charges him 500 yen a night to stay there, and so she lets him stay. So she's like, room and board, 500 yen, and he obviously isn't going to tell his mom this. His mom thinks that he's at soccer camp, but he wasn't about that. Now he's going to hang out with his new weird kids run the house family. And so a lot of it is them building the relationship sort of together as this unit between Rio and Natsuru and the little, I forget what the brother's name is, but in the little brother, it has like hints of romance at times. because Natsudu and Ryo are both like cool characters, and they have a lot in common. And he's really intrigued by the mystery that is Ryo. Ryo is really like he has a lot of like curiosity as to what's making her tick, like what's going on, and he's really impressed that she has kind of taken over this household, even though it's kind of messy and stuff like that. Like they're surviving on their own as like a sixth grade girl and like a, I don't know, maybe third, fourth grade little brother, and like so he's like impressed by that, and he tells Ryo that she's amazing. She's done this awesome job, and of course. No one's really told Ryo that before. She doesn't really have a whole lot of positive influence in her life. So she grows to have feelings for Natsudu. And they go to this like really cool festival together. But the truth starts to come out as to what is really why things the way that they are, and why Kaori is the way that she, or not Kaori, that's the author. Why Ryo is the way that she is. And I'm not going to talk about it here because that is the big twist of this, and I gotta hand it to this mangaka. I did not see it coming, what's actually going on. And I hope that makes you want to read this. But it is really good. It's a really good twist. Everything after the twist is also really good. It has a nice, really cool ending. And overall, it's a really cool story of, like, it definitely feels like, definitely something you would want to read, maybe, like, I would say, like, maybe in the summertime. Like, I said a lot of this takes place, like, in a school, but because, like, he's supposed to be, like, at the camp, it's really, like the kids, like, on their own. So, like, it reminded me of times, like, in the summer when, like, maybe you would go do stuff with, like, your friends, like, away from adults and stuff like that. And, you know, you were really, like the world was yours at that point. And so it's a lot about like freedom in youth, and also having to accept responsibility, and sort of having to deal with like the negative things that happen in life. Like, yeah, there's pluses and minuses to everything. Like, yeah, you have freedom that you're living on your own, but there's a cost to stuff, and nothing really worth having like comes easy. And it's a message in this manga, and it's a really cool, I think, realistic depiction of what some people might be going through. Like, you never know what the person sitting next to you is going through, and this manga really made me think about that. And yeah, so I mean, as much as I'd love to talk about what happens in the latter half of this manga, I can't. Have you checked out this manga? Let me know down below what you thought. I highly recommend this. It's probably one of the better manga that I've read in my short career of doing manga content on here. Like I said, I think probably the best part of this is it's only like one volume. It's a very concise story. It's very fast paced, very quick. It's got cool art too. It's got like interesting looking characters, and sort of like they like express their emotion like really well, and nothing like and the dialogue is also pretty good. Like, there's not a lot of like a ton of throwaway dialogue, like I kind of felt in my last manga video about Solanin. Like, it is kind of just like childish banter, but it's usually sets like a tone for like what might happen. It makes you kind of question, like, it adds to the mystery element of this. And I really like The God's Lie. If I had to say one nitpick that I have, and this is probably just a personal thing, but it's something that I don't enjoy in any anime or any manga, is that early on, and this is only really mentioned like once, is that our main guy Natsudu, right? He it's just him and his mom in the house, and they hint at this weird like they play with like this like incesty kind of joke where he's like feeling her up, and it's really off-putting and weird. And I get it, maybe people are gonna be like, well, it's a cultural difference or something like that, or they're gonna sit there and say, oh, it's an anime thing or it's a manga thing. It shouldn't be like, it shouldn't just be something that we just blindly accept. And honestly, that's like just a small, small, small nitpick blemish that I see on what was otherwise a really good manga. And also, it doesn't like mean anything. Like it doesn't like it's mentioned like once and then it goes away, which I guess is a good thing that they didn't keep doing that. But I just feel like it was really forced and unnecessary. But yeah, like I said, if you guys have read The God's Lie, let me know what you thought of it down below. And, check out my Patreon if you can. You could recommend me one manga every month if you join to a certain tier level. You can also recommend me an anime every month, and you can have access to my Discord server. But the link for that will be down below. Thank you guys for watching. This is Miasma, signing out.